Welcome back. We are in part 4 of our 5-part series on the losing strategies that keep you stuck in relationships. And today we're covering retaliation. Retaliation is offending from the victim position. This idea that you hurt me, so I'm going to hurt you back, and I'll make you feel what I feel. Now, retaliation can be overt or it can be more covert. So overt retaliation looks like you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you back directly. So that could be saying things to your partner like, I forgot to do that. Well, you forgot our anniversary last year. Or, oh, you're criticizing me. Let me tell you all the ways you've messed up. Or, you want to talk about that now. Okay, fine. Let's talk about everything you've done. It's that tit for tat mentality. You pushed me, I'm going to push you back. Now, covert retaliation is much more passive aggressive. It is you hurt me, so I'm going to punish you indirectly, more subtly. So this could be withholding affection, withholding sex from your partner, forgetting to do something you know matters to them. And I mean, forgetting in quotes here because it's purposely forgetting. It's giving them the cold shoulder on purpose to punish them, using little digs or sarcastic comments towards them, and intentionally doing things you know will bother them. So the pattern that comes up when people struggle with the losing strategy of retaliation is you feel hurt, you feel wronged, and instead of addressing it directly, you punish them. You might think, I'm getting justice, I'm evening the score, but really what's happening is you're creating this cycle of payback in your relationship. And no one's going to win in this cycle. It's this perverse justice. You feel wronged, you feel hurt, and your body, it's like it wants to restore balance. It wants them to understand that they hurt you. Maybe you grew up in a family where conflict was like this. You saw your mom and dad do this back and forth. It was very competitive in their relationship. Or maybe you learned that if someone hurts you, you hurt them back. You get even. Maybe you feel powerless, and retaliation gives you this sense of control, especially if it's passive aggressive. I see this come up a lot where being kind of subtly passive aggressive, it can kind of feel like it rights the scales a little bit. Relationship, if this is something you struggle with. And you believe that if your partner was to feel what you felt, they would finally understand. If you hurt them in the way that they hurt you, they would finally get it. And so if this is something you're struggling with, your nervous system, your body is going into protection mode. And the way your body has learned to protect itself, likely early on in your life, was to attack back, right? Again, it learned that you push me, I push you back. Or I set something up that's going to trip you later because I don't want to be so obvious that I'm being retaliatory. And retaliation, we said offending from the victim position is really living in a victim mindset. If you are someone who is retaliatory in your relationship, if you're trying to get back at your partner for something, it's a good time to ask yourself, am I playing the victim here? And there's 2 questions I love to ask people when they kind of identify, or we identify in session that they are in this victim mentality. And it is number 1, what do you get out of being the victim? Because you're benefiting from being the victim in some way, otherwise you wouldn't be playing the victim. And then what are you getting out of? Meaning, what do you get to avoid by being the victim? Well, you get to avoid accountability, you get to avoid responsibility, you get to avoid actually using your voice and communicating what you want and what you need. And a big one, retaliation, being the victim, allows you to avoid being vulnerable because you can just be hurt and protect yourself. You don't have to be open and vulnerable and actually share that hurt with your partner. What is this going to cost you in your relationship? Well, I said earlier, it creates a cycle of payback. You hurt me, I hurt you, you hurt me back, I hurt you back. Nobody wins. You both just keep continuously getting hurt. It prevents repair. When you're so focused on punishing them, you're not focused on understanding your partner, and you're not even focused on them understanding you. So the original issue that brought on this losing strategy is never getting resolved. You're just in this vicious cycle of tit for tat. It erodes trust because if your partner knows that when they hurt you, you're going to hurt them back, they'll stop being honest with you. Maybe they'll walk on eggshells around you, or maybe they'll just leave you because they feel like I can never be open and honest and tell this person something without them coming back and kind of slamming me with something. And it feels justified in the moment, but in the long run, it's going to destroy your connection. Because in the moment, you may feel like, and retaliation can be subtle, that, well, my partner told me something that was bothering them, so I just responded back with something that was bothering me. But again, this is where we start to sandwich conflict, where it's like grievance upon grievance upon grievance, and we start attacking each other instead of taking a moment to really deal with one pain point, one problem at a time. So with this losing strategy, you may think you're getting justice. You may think that you're making them understand how you feel. You may think I'm standing up for myself, I'm evening the score. But what you're really doing is just creating more hurt. You're avoiding the real issue. You're building resentment. You're destroying trust. And the truth is, retaliation doesn't create understanding. It just creates a continuous cycle of pain in your relationship. And standing up for yourself doesn't require you to put someone else down. It doesn't require you to punish your partner. It means expressing your hurt and asking for what you need. So how do we shift this? Well, the first thing is awareness, right? Recognize that you are in retaliation mode. Ask yourself, am I bringing up past grievances to punish them? Am I withholding something, affection, sex, attention, to hurt them? Am I trying to make them feel what I feel? Am I saying or doing this to hurt them back? And if you're answering yes to any of those questions, you're in retaliation mode. We've got to name the hurt directly. Instead of punishing them, tell them how you feel. Saying something like, when you said that earlier, it really hurt me. I felt dismissed and I felt unseen. That invites repair, and it creates a space where the two of you can start to work on the problem. Because there's nothing wrong with standing up for yourself in the relationship. Saying something like, that hurt me. I need you to know that, and I need us to talk about how we can make sure it doesn't happen again. It is good to stand up for yourself in a relationship, and you're going to probably have to do that at times. But retaliation is not standing up. Retaliation is striking your partner back. So you've got to let go of the scorecard. You got to just put it away. Relationships aren't about keeping score. They're about understanding, and they're about repair. And so if you're hurt, say you're hurt. Don't hurt them back to try to make it even. Ask for what you need, and instead of punishing them for not meeting your needs, tell them what you need. I see this so often where someone will get frustrated that their needs are not getting met in a relationship, and they'll come to me and we'll talk about that. And my question is, have you told your partner you need that? And they'll be like, no. I'm like, have you asked your partner if they could meet this need? And the answer is typically no. So make a direct request, saying something like, when you forgot to do that, I felt like my needs didn't matter. I need you to follow through when you say you're going to do something. That is a direct request. And then notice your passive-aggressive behavior. Again, if you're withholding things, you're giving the cold shoulder, I want you to ask yourself, am I punishing or am I communicating with them? Are your actions actually helping your relationship get closer, or is it just creating more distance in your relationship? And if you forget everything else from this episode, I want you to ask this one question to yourself that will change everything if you struggle with retaliation. Am I trying to hurt them back, or am I trying to repair this? Because if you're trying to hurt them back, that's where you need to pause. You need to name the hurt directly, and you need to ask for what you need. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for listening. And next week, we will be covering the fifth and final losing strategy, which, spoiler alert, this is the one that I struggle with the most. I'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to Relationship Growth. If you enjoyed this episode and you're a fan of the show, please subscribe and leave us a review. If you'd like to connect, you can join me over on Substack or follow me on Instagram @LillyRachels. Let's build love that grows.